Happy Monday to you all. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good day. Very happy to be here as always. I love Mondays, one of my favourite days. And tonight I'm delighted to be welcoming two very special guests. So I really hope you enjoy this evening. So how's your week? How was your weekend? Hope everything went well. Hope you had a good weekend. And yeah, so I had a bit of a break last Monday for International Women's Day. So I feel kind of quite energised and ready to go again. So we've had over the last few Mondays lots of different guests and different topics, which I've absolutely loved. I've talked to some amazing people. So we've talked about authenticity, saying no and how to make more time for ourselves. What else have we had? We've had laughter. It's the best medicine. And we had Carmen talking about why singing is good for the soul. So tonight we have Finding Your Own Happiness. So I think it was around sort of last September, I came across a post on LinkedIn by a lovely lady called Michelle, and we connected. And then before I knew it, I joined. Michelle and James have run a happy cafe up in the north of England, but of course because of the pandemic everything's online, so I joined their happy cafe, and yeah, I've just got to know them over the last few months, and they are an amazing couple, absolutely brilliant. And I've had so much fun, so many laughs with them. And I don't know about you, sort of during the pandemic, anyone that you meet, you feel like you've known them forever, and that's how I feel with these two. I've only known them, literally a few months, but I feel like it's been been many years. So delighted to have them on tonight. So a little bit about them. They are amazing. So they have so many different talents, which I keep discovering. So they have a podcast, they're happiness spreaders, coaches. Michelle is a psychologist, and they have a business called Work Pirates, which I'm sure they'll tell us all about. So very talented couple. And so their mission is to help people create happier and more fulfilled lives. So I'm really excited to pick their brains about this kind of whole concept of happiness, and particularly during the pandemic as well. I think we're all kind of reprioritizing and rethinking our lives. So can we be, happier going forward? So let's see how we get on. So I always love this bit as I try and get the technology to work. So let's have a look if we coming anytime now. Oh, all gone quiet. Right, here they are. Hello, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, brilliant, excellent. How are you both?
We're good. We're
You're
very
good.
surprisingly sprightly for 7 o'clock in an evening. So
That to you.
just had dinner. It's normally like winding down, but we're quite excited about chatting to you. So thanks for inviting us.
Oh, that's okay. No, thank you for coming on. And I've just been singing your praises about how we met, and just all the wonderful work you've done. And I've enjoyed coming along to the Happy Cafe and just learning from you, and being grateful for all the things that we have in our lives. And so I want to pick your brains. I've got a few questions for you. Yeah, do you feel like you can be picked tonight?
Totally.
We don't know. We just say we don't know.
We've got no choice.
Well, I have said you are the Ant and Dec of happiness.
So we're here, yes.
Which one's Ant and which one's Dec?
Well, I'm always on the left, so I think that means I'm Ant, I think, isn't it? Don't know.
Dec's slightly shorter.
Okay. So anyone who's not from the UK is probably wondering who are Ant and Dec. Anyways. Anyway, right. So can you tell us, our theme for tonight is finding your own happiness. And so I just wanted to find out a little bit about sort of the journey you've been on with your happiness work. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, it's really funny. We were talking about this last night. So James, right. It started off with I went to a networking event and I felt really uncomfortable and decided I wasn't going to go back, and I'm never going to do networking again because people just try and sell me stuff and like leave me with randos, and it's just awful. Anyway, so I had seen on LinkedIn that there was this thing called LinkedIn Local, and I was like, oh, interesting. So it's just a bunch of people popping up all over the world, actually. A lady called Anna McAfee.
Yeah.
There we go. I always do it wrong. It's like, no, that's not right. She set it up in Australia, and I saw it and got in touch with a lady called Alex Galvez, who I think is a mutual connection of ours, and set up Newcastle's LinkedIn Local with a mate of mine, and James saw it advertised and came along.
Which was that 3 years ago this month.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I was working a lot from home, a lot of hours, didn't see many people out in the real world, so I thought I need to get out and make some new connections, actually have human contact, because working from home can be a real chore. So we ended up meeting. We got chatting about loads of stuff, didn't we, about coaching and some of the same authors we like, and I mentioned I quite fancied having a podcast or being on the radio, one or the other. And Michelle went off and organised some training, and so within, I don't know, from about July, August, by September we did some training, by December we were recording, and in the January of 2019 we launched a podcast, which was really just a bit of fun, share some of the great stories in the Northeast and beyond about how people found their passion. And it grew from there, and then we thought, what's a cunning way to see if we can actually work together, because it's all very well being having a bit of fun recording podcasts, but we both enjoyed, if you've not seen, there's a charity called Action for Happiness, which is it's a global movement of, I think it's somewhere around 250,000 people, I want to say, across 160 countries, and they've got a really great monthly calendar. We're in Mindful March, and it's simple actions we can take every day that help improve our well-being, our happiness, using our happiness muscles. So we ran a course together.
Okay.
An 8 weeks it was called Exploring What Matters course. Really interesting tips, tools every week as to how we can connect with others, how we can look at each day, each week with gratitude, and it's really focusing on small things every day that help improve happiness, which often sounds like something that's like, surely this must be like snakeskin oil or something that someone's selling. Surely we can't find happiness because we all need to be successful to be happy. But that's what we're all sold. And that, I think, has been my biggest learning through the courses, is we have to flip that around, that if we're always chasing after some goal, excuse me, or some, when I retire, when I win the lottery, when I get that promotion,
when I lose weight,
when I get my next car, you're always striving for something. But when you get there, you're now already looking at the next target, the next goal. So by flipping it around and actually being content with where we are, what we have, what we're doing, where we are in life, we can still strive for things, but actually being more present in the moment makes a massive difference. And I've gone from being a chase the dollar type of person, working in the States, thinking, oh, when I come back to the Northeast, I'll have all my millions and then I can help people. Whereas now it's like, actually, no, I don't have a penny to my name.
I know the feeling.
Inspiration North is something that's helping others to find happiness, but actually making a difference in others' lives. It's not being about money, which is, for me, is a total shift. It's success was when I have money, then I'll help lots of people
and be happy.
But now I'm happy helping others to try and find the same and to find their own success. And the expectation is that eventually we'll make some money and be able to pay the bills, that sort of thing. So it's very different, very different take on it.
It's like a complete shift, isn't it, in your head? Just, you know, because I think we are, you know, brought up to be, you know, we work until we retire, then we retire, then we're happy, and then we do all the things that we're meant to do. But it's actually, actually being happy in the moment. So it is possible.
And I think another realization is, Michelle normally does more talking than I do, but I'm relishing the opportunity. It's where was I going with this? So happiness is it's not a base emotion. So another revelation for me is that I was doing some training recently. Actually, there's a really good book called The Happiness Trap by Russ Harris.
Okay.
And he's part of the acceptance and commitment therapy, the ACT model, and he sort of says that to have a fulfilling, complete life, you actually need a full range of emotions every day, every week, every month. So I think Michelle usually joke, don't you, that if you're happy all the time, you're either medicated or
inebriated.
Yes. No one is permanently happy. So it's these fluxes of emotion. Happiness can come and go, but that's actually what being a complete human is experiencing a full range of emotions, which allows you to actually feeling is what makes you human. And happiness is not, I know we talk about finding happiness, but it's only part of the equation, which has been a massive learning for me. It's so it's okay to feel a bit down one day and upbeat the next. So that, I think, for me has been a big learning.
That's thank you for that. That's really made me feel a lot better. actually, just to know that is all part of the human experience, is to have all those different emotions, and it's okay to feel like that.
Yeah, it's funny though, isn't it? So we've sort of almost sold the dream that if you're not happy, you're defective. There's something wrong with you. So it's you know it's not the case. And we love here's another book for you. We have we absolutely adore a happiness researcher at Harvard who has like the best TED talk. He's a chap called Sean Aker, and he I totally forgot where I was going. It's your sister's messages keep popping up.
Again, I'm just going to put my phone on.
Just like, oh,
there we go.
Like
We've got 2 people joined.
My inner nosy person just went.
We've got Catherine,
back. Yes.
Caroline, Lena. Oh, you're popular. I don't normally get this many people.
So what's that, Sean Aker?
Sean Aker.
Oh, yes. So 90% of your happiness can be predicted by not around what's going on around you, you know, what shoes you've got, what car you've got. It's all about how you see the world. So if you're looking for stuff to be a bit rubbish, stuff will be a bit rubbish, because you'll be spotting all the rubbish stuff. You know, it's like, oh, I can't believe that guy, you know, cut me off at the lights, and then my boss had to go, and then it's all just woe is me. You know, when you get, you know, we have them all the time. That's so that spiral of, you know, everybody's against me, and then you've got, if you can sort of train your brain, I suppose, to look for the good things. You know, what are you grateful for? What good things have happened? Then quite quickly you get to the point where you are spotting the good things, and when bad things happen, you're able to say, oh, I learned, you know, and pick the good things out about it. So yeah, it's been really good doing all of this research and happy cafes and Action for Happiness stuff. Yeah, it's helped. It's really helped us, really. So it's almost that, you know, researchers, psychologists, coached, first heal yourself before you can heal anybody else.
Well, you are, in a way, you're kind of working on yourself while you're helping others.
Yes.
In a way, aren't you? I know I am. So, but I know, just being, you know, joining happy cafes and just talking with you, I've learned so much, you know. Just, I mean, I'd had sort of an appreciation for gratitude before, but I did find during the pandemic, I remember coming along and you were talking about what are you grateful for, and I was like, you know, and I was almost like, I can't go there, I can't think about gratitude, but yeah, you kind of encouraged me to to reconnect with what is, you know, what you do feel grateful for. And I think when you do, then you do feel, it's that kind of sense of yeah, you do feel happy, and you start looking at the world differently again, rather than of, you know, coming from a place of lacking. You're looking at, you know, actually I've got a lot already, and then you bring more of that into your life.
Yeah, and
That's what I feel.
yeah. Brené Brown, another one of my favourites. She says it's not a sort of an attitude of gratitude; it's a practice. So you have to actually, you know, do the work.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't just happen, does it?
It's a bit painful sometimes. What are you happy about? Well, I'm really happy that it's really windy and rainy because the grass is getting all, you know, all the rain it needs to grow. You know, it's that, like.
So in your sort of, your own sort of lives, how has just being grateful, how has that contributed? What do you think what's happened for you? Do you think it's just sort of helping other people, or what's it done for you?
I've found it. So it's the daily practice of it. I use an app. I'm not affiliated with them. It's a free app called Three Good Things.
Okay, yes, you mentioned this before. Yeah.
I get a notification at 9 o'clock, and it's not necessarily just about gratitude, but what went well today. What are you grateful for today? 3 things to put in, and I find some days it's quite difficult because you think, what a stinker of a day.
Yeah.
Was there really anything good about today?
There's always chocolate.
This went wrong.
There's
there's an invoice I've got to pay, and then there's. But yeah, exactly right. It's, oh, we made a really nice dinner. Oh, we had a relaxing evening watching a great movie. And it's what Michelle said about what your brain is looking for. By the end of the day, I'm now actually already trying to think before we get to 9, because it's like, oh, I'm going to get that notification at 9 telling me I need to find 3 things. So I'm already thinking, what was good today, actually? Oh, well, the sunshine was out and we got to spend time together, or whatever it was. It's picking up on the good stuff rather than perpetuating what a shitty day it was today.
Bloody pandemic, can't hug anyone, can't go anywhere.
Yes.
I say this all the time, but I think the fact that we have those happy cafes as an anchor point has been really, really helpful, because it's totally non-judgmental. People can turn up sad, happy, anxious, and, you know, it's almost like all emotions are welcome. You know, we've had tears, we've had a lot of laughter. and it's acceptance, and I don't think I've ever had a space like that before in my life.
Agreed. Yeah.
It becomes as well, I think, what do they call it? It's I've lost my train of thought. It's almost like I'm trying to fill in, trying to remember what I'm trying to say. Can we go to a commercial break?
Yeah, squirrel.
Well, yes. So the gratitude element. So there are the days. So we have our own businesses. So we're not guaranteed at the end of the month to receive a paycheck, for example. So there are months, there are weeks where we sort of wonder, how do we pay the bills? How do we get things? How do we invest in this area? How do we help with this project? And it often sounds a bit cheesy, but having that why and that purpose, where we can say, well, the reason is that we've just had this feedback from somebody as to how much that podcast helped them, or the Happy Cafe that helped them, or a course that they've been on. And it's kind of a measure of success of, if one person has got some value from that and it's helped them progress their thinking, change their life in some way, then it makes the day-to-day challenges of finding new business, etc., much easier in a sense, because it's not all doom and gloom. We're actually making a difference, and that's feeling grateful for that wider community, the people we've met from COVID, such as yourself, which we may not have done if it didn't happen.
Exactly.
There's so many people we consider friends, like yourself.
We've never seen
like,
before.
oh yeah, we've never met them in real life, have we? We only know them from the waist up. And that's, I think we can all do things that are, it's part of really one of the Action for Happiness core, the 10 keys to happiness is in helping others. You really help yourself. So whether it's checking in on an elderly neighbour and having a chat on the phone, or helping them with shopping, whatever it might be, it really, that sense of giving and what comes back is all worth it.
It's so true, actually. I was in Tesco's today, and somebody was, a lady was struggling to understand something on the shelf, and because I wasn't particularly busy, I could actually stop and help her. And I mean, it was literally just a minute, but I felt so good afterwards. It was just kind of really made my day, other than seeing you two, of course. But just that sort of just actually stopping and taking the time to really, give to someone else. Normally I would just be in my own little world and rush off, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's that sort of sense of making a difference, and kind of that.
Oh, so I was at a conference on Friday, and I was absolutely delighted that Erin Brockovich was speaking, and she was amazing. She's got a new book out, which I've downloaded on Audible. It's like Superman's not coming. I know, sorry, homework. And she was talking about this sort of period of time being a great reset. That's almost like before we just jump back into normal, figure out for yourself what part of normal you actually want to jump back into.
Absolutely.
So commuting 2 hours a day, is that something you want to do? Or it's been really interesting, and she made me think, and she's just amazing. Absolutely, as a human, we love her.
No, I can imagine she was very, very inspiring. But I think that's so true, isn't it? I think that was going to be one of my sort of other questions, is just, after the pandemic, do you think we're going to be happier? Because we've had this time out and we are completely reprioritizing and thinking, differently. Do you think that's going to have an impact on happiness, on people's sort of individual happiness? So I'm just throwing this question at you.
You can't almost get away with the fact that it's been like fairly horrific around the world, and I think it's brought home a lot of what actually matters in life. Is it important to have a bigger car, or is it important to spend a bit more time with the people you love? And sort of simplifying the stuff we thought we needed. We've survived for a year without, cinemas and theatres and restaurants and pubs and gyms. And shopping and all of that stuff. And it's amazing how wonderfully adaptive humans are.
Very true. So it's almost like we're having time to really think about, do we need these things? And we're just, I'll just be happy just to sit in a coffee shop and have a hot chocolate and go see my mum, down by the sea, and just look at the sea. And we've been stripped of all the things all the luxuries, all the holidays, and all the things that we used to do and spend our money on, and now we're going to sort of go back into the world again, and we're going to have quite a different outlook on life, aren't we, in a way?
Yeah, I think we probably all, we definitely have grown and learned so much about ourselves. And James did a really good article about, you don't have to, like, very first early days into the pandemic, it was like, all right, I'm going to teach my children pottery and taekwondo and it's like, and I was like seeing all these posts on social media with like, and the timetable is this, and my child's going to be the most well-rounded, homeschooled person in life, and I was just thinking, can we just survive this?
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone was in very different places at the start.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You did a really good blog post, but in the pandemic, you've done some coaching qualifications. I've done some more coaching qualifications because we know there's so many people that need help. So, and we just want to help people strive towards fulfilling their potential, which is effectively what Sean Akers and ours now, because we've adopted it.
Definition of happiness.
Yeah.
And that's the excuse me, the mission of Action for Happiness is we're very much aligned with it, that you don't have to create the next Facebook or find a cure for a disease. You actually can change the world by changing the world of 2, 3, 4 people around you. And if that influences them to go on to positively impact others, the ripples of happiness and inspiration, your small deeds in your day to day end up helping, who knows, hundreds of thousands of people because of how you've acted on a day to day. It could be a simple thing as greeting the bus driver with a great smile and a how you doing every time you'd get on, and that's what it's all about, really. It doesn't have to be complex. Simple daily practices and the impact you have on others is what actually changes the world. It doesn't have to be one person that does something huge to change the planet, and that's an important reminder, I think.
That's a really, really good reminder. Yeah. And almost it's just being kind of very mindful of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. I think, like you say, you talk sort of about daily practices. So it's just really being aware of what you are doing, which is sort of all well and good. It's just sort of sometimes the emotions and the day kind of happens sometimes. So, I mean, is there any kind of tips you can give us just for kind of being, I don't know, just to kind of remember all that, because I think everything you talked about is just amazing, and you've reminded me of so many things. I'm making notes. Any kind of tips that you just to kind of to remember all those points?
So I say my number one is that you can't make anyone else happy. You can only make yourself happy. So that self-compassion, self-care, self-parenting, whatever you want to call it, it needs to start with you. Because if you're not feeling up to it, you can't do anything really that's going to positively impact other people. So self-care is not selfish.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about the message of talking about happiness. It's being aware that it's not then dipping into toxic positivity.
Yes, yeah, I've learned that from you guys. I love that word.
It's not this. It's kind of like in the Lego movie, like where everything is awesome. Coffee's $37. Awesome. And it's I won't sing the song because it'll be in my head all night.
It's in my head already.
But it's
Come on, sing the song. I don't know the song.
I've not seen that one. You've
not seen the Lego movie?
Oh, I'll have to get Alfie to watch that
one.
one.
I think your little would love it.
Yeah, sorry, come on.
It's really, there are lots of messages we see which I think can be well intentioned, positive vibes only, or you should be grateful for what you've got. There's people who've lost relatives in COVID, or you've at least got a house over your head. There's homeless in the streets. There's starving kids in Africa, but you can still get a Tesco delivery. It's well-intentioned, but you can dip into this toxic positivity of, I remember one of our earlier podcast guests, Feeman Rowe, was probably the most powerful I can remember. Sadly, she passed away in July last year, but she'd had a stage 4 ovarian cancer diagnosis. And her view was, we all have our big stuff. Because I think I'd made a comment before we recorded that I'd had a burnout 4 months before we met her.
That's right.
So I was saying, but I shouldn't really complain because my health will improve. And she stopped me and she said, no, you can't compare your scenario to my cancer, because we all have big stuff. What's something quite easy to cope with for one person might be a huge life event for another. Simple as losing a job. Some people might just say, well, hated the boss anyway, I've got 6 options lined up for coffees and I'm going to go and find a new job. So it's recognizing that we can all have big stuff, and that it doesn't always have to be awesome. It doesn't always have to be sunshine and rainbows and unicorns and fluffy pillows. Life does suck at times, but it doesn't mean you've got to always have this positive, smiley face for the world. It's recognizing, as I said earlier, the full range of emotions should be expressed to be fully human, I suppose. And I think that's another big point for me. It's not always necessarily being seen as super positive, super smiley, having that vulnerable side to say, oh, they're actually not having a good day, a good week. I'm glad they've shared that, because I actually feel the same.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's, if that's not too long-winded to an explanation.
No, that makes sense. I did a big whingy post about last week and women on LinkedIn, and it's been amazing how many people it's just like, yes, me too.
Yeah.
So you are not alone in your feelings.
It's that connection, isn't it, that you feel? And I think if you are always in that kind of toxic positivity state, it's going to be very difficult to connect with people, because if you're going through something quite big and you think, oh, well, I can't talk to them because they're really always so happy and so positive, so it makes you a little bit, you're unable to connect with people in the same way. And if the more you do that, it kind of distance yourself from others. So actually you're, I think by being vulnerable and being yourself, you're able to connect with more people. So I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I think that's one thing I found actually with the happy cafes, that I could just turn up and be myself, and I could always rely on you to be very honest. And we'd always end up, talking gratitude, and we'd have a laugh, and you'd always come away feeling really good. But you don't have to kind of turn up and be something that you're not, or kind of deny yourself those emotions and feelings. And I think that was really, really powerful for me to kind of go through that. So I know so many people are grateful to both of you for all the work you've done with that, and just being you.
Oh, we love you.
Likewise.
It's so nice to see you in real life as well.
Oh yeah, you will one day. No,
just check you've got feet,
Yeah, I think so. You have covered so much over there. I mean, I'm going to keep to time for a change, because normally we rabbit on, but you have covered so much, I think, from making a difference, gratitude, kindness. You've covered a whole range of things that help people to feel happy. And I think just being that kind of authentic self, which is really important, being yourself, being vulnerable, all of those contribute to a happier life. Is there anything else you would add to anyone listening in?
Chocolate's good.
Yeah,
The
what
downside to
makes
that though
you happy?
in lockdown is you put on the quarantine 15, as one of my friends talks about, the 15 pounds you put on from the extra eating. But but on a more serious note,
exercise is really good.
yes.
Outside, nature.
Yes, yeah. You're great advocates for that. You take wonderful photos of all your different locations.
Am I taking photos of James taking photos? Literally can't go anywhere. It's like he's like literally in the bushes taking photos.
But
And I'm very impressed. Sorry, I was very impressed, James, with you wearing shorts in the snow. Don't know how you did that, but I was impressed.
it's the northern bloods. I think it's warmer than
Definitely.
the average. But it's
I didn't get any. I'm always cold.
the thing I found with it's not just exercise. That's one of the things which is a recommended activity each day. But I found with actually taking photographs, anything I might be concerned about, worried about, not found a solution for, I completely forgot it because I was so busy trying to find, what's the photo going to be for today to put on Instagram. I need to find a tree with some nice bark, or oh no, I took a picture of that stream yesterday. And I've got the daffodil. No, that was the day before. So all of a sudden, it became a mindfulness activity where I was so focused on what I was experiencing and seeing and hearing, and Michelle laughing at me and taking photos of me taking pictures. And it really was actually just noticing what's around us when we can be so busy just flying to the next meeting or driving to work or being on the bus to go somewhere, whatever it is. And it's almost, we can miss a lot. It's like that. There's an image, it does the rounds on Facebook and places, where you've got two people in a bus, how they view the world. You've got one looking at the cliff face, which is all dark and dreary, and you've got the other one who's looking out at the sun and the valley, and I think that's how you view the world, but also the mindful activity of picking up what's happening, what's blooming at the moment. Oh, there's more snowdrops than there were yesterday, or the daffodils are almost out. Great, that means spring. The days are getting lighter. It's these small sort of things which I found really, it sounds so simple, but I think that's the thing of happiness. It's not some PhD you need to go and study, or a course that's going to make you an expert in it. It's just enough to be able to say, these are simple practices that will help me day to day.
Yes, yeah.
In a nutshell.
I've actually got goosebumps you saying that, James.
Oh.
No, but just in a way, like it's so true, isn't it? I think I've been going on my morning walks, and I'll send you the photo. I found so a house has done a wishing tree, and it was only because I was actually for once not caught up in my thoughts, but actually trying to be a bit more mindful, that I noticed it. And they've literally all round their railings, they've cut out ribbon for people just to write down things that they wish for after lockdown. And so the railings are just all these bright kind of yellow ribbons, and it's very well organised. They've got sanitizer and they've got ribbon, and it's all very in line with with all the restrictions, but just so colourful. And I mean, I just started to read them, and I just kind of welled up a little bit, just all the different kind of messages. But what a thoughtful thing to do. But it was just, again, I'm sure I've been down that road many times and not noticed it. But the one morning I thought, I'm going to be more mindful today and be aware of what's going, on around me. And then I spotted it. So you're right. It's just being mindful. And that made me feel happy by doing that, just seeing that, which you wouldn't, you could quite easily miss these things, couldn't you?
What did you wish for?
I haven't done it yet. I was so busy
I'm
taking
going to think about the wish.
So I'm going to go back tomorrow and actually make a wish, but I was too caught up in taking a photo than actually participating in the activity. Anyway, so anything that you guys planning to do after what's your kind of top 2 things you'd like to do after lockdown? Is there any I know there's probably many things. Anything that you're excited about doing.
Hug as many people as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
I literally was walking down the street, like, dude, do you want a hug?
We'll go to Northumberland. We'll go to the big high street and just have a free hug sign. That'll be funny.
Avoid Newcastle.
Avoid Newcastle, yeah.
I really miss just travel. I think even getting across to the Lake District, or just, I don't know. It's a what a luxury to think of just jumping in the car and taking the ferry or a plane or a coach somewhere, and not really worrying about social distancing or things like that. I think I'd love to go on a bit more of a European road trip and just see loads of castles. Michelle's a big castle fan, and
How are you? Okay.
Love a castle.
Plenty in France.
Oh yes, we took him to the Loire Valley a couple of years ago. So yeah.
Okay. Have to talk about that.
What about you?
Planning a road trip to the north of England.
I go karaokeing with Paul and the gang.
Absolutely, a bit of karaoke in the north. To go and see family. I think that's family. Yeah, just people. To be honest, it's not so much places, because normally for me it's about places, but I just want to catch up with people. So just to get offline for it. So I feel like I've spent my life, like most people, online for a year. So just see people in person and see the sea. I'm going to sit on the beach and just stare at the sea for about an hour, I think. Yeah.
We'll just go to the beach for you and we'll take a photo. We'll take a video for an hour and then we'll send him. There we go.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do.
Let's eat some fish and chips and watch it. It'd be grand.
I'll get my fish and chips. Thank you very much. There we go. That's a lot cheaper to do.
That's a new business idea.
Yes. Yeah, very good. So, just before we go, I was very quickly. I have participated in your 21 Days to Happiness online course. So, what's the best thing, if anyone's watching this that haven't had the pleasure of meeting both of you before, what's the best way for them to follow you or find your wonderful work?
If you go to most places, search for Inspiration North, and you will find us on most social platforms. So whether you fancy listening to a podcast, coming to an event, there is a free guide on there at the moment, actually, 5 steps to defining your success, which is quite a thought-provoking free guide to figure a few things out.
It'll take you a couple of weeks to get through it.
Yeah, it's chunky. Chunkier than a chunky Kit Kat. And the course is on there. There's lots of different resources, but yeah, reach out if we can help in any way, and we're more than happy to help.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that you have your own special affiliate link and special discount code as well, Rebecca. So if you want to share it with anybody, then that'd be cool.
Okay, but I highly recommend the 21 Days to Happiness. I know I've followed this last year, and each day you've got 3 things I'm grateful for. I won't tell you all the but yeah, it's very worthwhile, and it has definitely made a difference. I know particularly since meeting both of you, and happy cafes and talking happiness and learning from you has definitely made a difference. And I know it does to all the people that you do, you look after in podcasts and happy cafes and all the other work you do. So thank you on their behalf from me.
Thank you. You're on the video as well. You're lovely. We did a little video.
Fame at last. Anyway, thank you so much for joining tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure I will download this so people can watch if they haven't seen or not on the live. And yeah, and I look forward to seeing you in person very soon.
And our next Happy Cafe, we're having a Happy Cafe takeover on, hilariously enough, the International
Day of Happiness.
Yes, on the 20th
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Newcastle will happen on Saturday.
Yeah,
There
so
you
our,
go.
we've got a couple of our regulars hosting us, so we're really excited that we can just sort of kick back and enjoy it.
Enjoying. Brilliant. Okay. Well, so there we go. If anyone's interested in joining Happy Cafes online, I imagine, you know, at some point they might go back to in person later on in the year, but for the
I think we'll
moment,
do a hybrid. I think we've got people in Germany and France and London, and you know, we wouldn't want to miss out on you guys, so we'll definitely be doing some in real life and some in on Tinterweb.
brilliant. Okay. Good to know. So anywhere in the world you can join,
Yep.
obviously, bearing in mind time difference.
If you want to stay up all night's grand.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and yeah, stay happy and keep inspiring and doing your wonderful work.
You too.
And I will see you soon.
You
Yeah.
will.
See you
Well,
soon.
thank you everyone for
Love
watching.
you. Bye.
Bye. See you soon.